Blake Lively isn't just battling in court, she's waging a full-blown personal war against over 100 people. And the more you examine the facts, the more it looks less like a fight for justice and more like a calculated campaign of fear. Here's what's really happening. In her latest legal onslaught, Blake has targeted 107 content creators, PR agents, and even small female-owned businesses.
Why?
Because she's clinging to the belief in a massive, organized smear campaign against her during the It Ends With Us press tour. But court filings and insiders paint a very different picture. The backlash wasn't orchestrated. It was the internet reacting to her own words and behavior. One of her main targets is the agency group Tiga, a small PR firm run by women in their 20s and 30s. They're not wealthy, not powerful, and certainly don't have bot armies at their disposal. Yet Blake and her legal team are demanding access to private conversations with their attorneys, messages that predate any lawsuit. Former TIG employee Brianna Koslow, speaking under the risk of further retaliation, revealed a chilling reality. Women with newborns receiving death threats, toddlers crying as process servers pounded on doors, and an entire company's reputation upended. All because Blake believed a lie. And where is Ryan Reynolds in all this?
Silent.
But he is tied to marketing firms and a talent agency with a history of using bots to influence public opinion. When the dots are connected, the fingerprints of manipulation become unmistakable. Blake claims she's the victim of a smear campaign, but according to the people she's targeting, it's actually her running the most ruthless smear machine in Hollywood. If Blake is the face of this war, Stephanie Jones may have been the spark. Court documents show that long before the lawsuits began, Blake was convinced bots were flooding her social media. She wasn't keeping these theories private. She was texting It Ends With Us cast members, claiming she was under attack by a shadowy, coordinated network. Then Stephanie Jones allegedly entered the picture, feeding Blake and her publicist the idea that a PR firm, the agency group, was secretly using bots to tarnish her image. According to insiders, this accusation was not only false but impossible. Tiga lacks the infrastructure for a bot network. Their specialty is crisis PR for small brands, not digital warfare. But Blake didn't need evidence. She just needed someone to confirm what she already believed. That's classic confirmation bias, and it gave her the pretext to launch a scorched earth legal strategy. Ryan Reynolds' involvement is significant, too. His talent agency, WME, and his marketing firms have previously been accused of using click farms and bot activity to drive engagement. Is it a coincidence that Blake's first instinct was to accuse others of tactics familiar to her own circle? Now, multiple women, most with no influence, no money, and no platform, are being dragged into court to defend themselves against Blake's fantasy of a massive anti-Blake army. Meanwhile, the real smear campaign seems to be coming from her side, using intimidation and lawsuits to silence anyone who dares speak out. And it gets worse. The deeper you dig, the uglier Blake's so-called evidence becomes. If you want to see how fake narratives are manufactured in Hollywood, look at Jed Wallace. This PR strategist was brought in during the It Ends With Us fallout, supposedly to protect Justin Baldoni and Wayfair Studios from Blake's escalating claims. But by the time Wallace joined, the internet was already flooded with anti-Blake commentary. TikTok creators were dissecting her red carpet interviews, Colleen Hoover's fanbase was in full revolt, and Blake's own sound bites were going viral for all the wrong reasons. What starts as a supposed victim narrative quickly turns into a legal and PR nightmare, with Blake Lively at the center, pulling strings, filing lawsuits, and using intimidation. Her fixation on bots, conspiracies, and imaginary smear campaigns has dragged dozens of innocent people into the fray, while the internet and industry insiders continue to watch the unraveling of what was once her carefully curated Hollywood image. In the end, the more she tries to fight, the more the world sees the very real damage being done, not by her critics, but by the actions of Blake Lively herself. No one needed to manipulate the algorithm, it was already doing the work on its own. Yet, in an August 2024 email, Jed Wallace pitched a plan that sounded straight out of a political black ops playbook. Monitor Reddit, TikTok, and YouTube for negative narratives, influence conversations in real time, and remove harmful links from search results. And then came the kicker, CTR manipulation. Click-through rate manipulation is when bots or mass clicking are used to artificially boost content, so it ranks higher on Google or appears more popular than it actually is. It's shady, artificial, and in most industries considered unethical. Then came the money grab. Wallace suddenly hiked his fee to $30,000 a month, claiming the threat of Blake activating the Taylor Swift fan base required a bigger budget. PR experts say that number isn't unusual. But the problem lies in Wallace's sworn court statements. He claimed he didn't have a team, even though his emails to Wayfarer boasted about one. So, was he lying about having a team or lying about not using them? Either way, the fact remains, if there truly was a massive smear campaign against Blake, why did Wallace's strategy focus so heavily on SEO tricks instead of real legal defense? The answer is simple: it was never real. It was a smokescreen. While Blake was busy pointing fingers online, her legal crusade was about to pull in someone who wanted no part of this drama: actress Isabella Ferrer. Ferrer played young Lily Bloom in It Ends With Us. She's not a PR agent, a TikTok creator, or a gossip blogger. She was just a cast member. Yet Wayfarer Studios claims she is a key witness to harassing, retaliatory, or inappropriate behavior during filming and promotion. Because Blake has asserted that other women from the set will testify about alleged misconduct, Ferrer suddenly became a target. The problem? No one can find her. Court records show process servers have visited multiple addresses in Brooklyn and Sag Harbor, all coming up empty. Her attorney has gone silent, refusing service. Wayfarer is now asking the judge for permission to serve her through alternative means: email, phone, or directly through her lawyer. Even more telling, Ferrer has scrubbed all photos of herself with Blake from her Instagram. That's not casual. It's the kind of quiet distancing you see when someone wants no part of a scandal. So why is Blake's team so determined to drag her in? Because they're desperate to support Blake's narrative. If Ferrer confirms anything negative, it becomes ammunition. If she says nothing, her silence can be spun as suspicious. Either way, she's trapped in a no-win scenario. And this feels like another intimidation tactic. First, Blake targets small female-owned businesses. Now, she's cornering young actresses who could damage her image if they spoke freely. It's a classic Hollywood power play. Keep people too scared or too worn out to talk. The real irony. Every subpoena, every headline, every public court motion is doing the opposite of what Blake wants. She isn't silencing the story, she's amplifying it. In Hollywood, there's one unspoken rule. If you want a scandal to die, you don't pour gasoline on it. But that's exactly what Blake Lively has done. Every move she makes, every lawsuit filed, every demand for secrecy is fueling the very controversy she's trying to bury. The result is a snowballing drama that grows with each attempt to control it, exposing the full extent of a campaign rooted in fear, manipulation, and carefully constructed illusions. Blake Lively isn't just facing a PR headache, she's ignited a full-blown inferno. Every lawsuit, every subpoena she files hasn't silenced critics. It's only amplified them. Every content creator she drags into court posts updates. Every PR professional she targets shares their side of the story. Even her own witnesses, like Isabella Ferrer, are vanishing rather than standing by her. What Blake is experiencing is the Strand effect. The harder you try to hide or suppress something, the more public it becomes. Here's the part Blake and Ryan Reynolds don't want anyone talking about. The backlash wasn't engineered. There was no grand conspiracy, no army of paid bots. The viral criticism stemmed from Blake's own words and actions: dismissive red carpet interviews, missteps during press tours, and a passionate It Ends With Us fanbase that reacted to what they saw. Meanwhile, Justin Baldoni, the man she's indirectly targeting, hasn't been running smear campaigns or weaponizing media. He's focused on his work, the film, and staying above the drama. The contrast couldn't be more glaring. While Blake weaponizes the legal system to intimidate women and small businesses, Justin remains above the fray. Yet Blake's moves reveal a larger pattern: how easily Hollywood's wealthiest can abuse lawsuits to silence critics. Whispers of bots, orchestrated smear campaigns, and mass intimidation become a smokescreen to distract from their own behavior. The public reacts quickly when they see the bully instead of the victim. Blake isn't losing because of TikTok or social media chatter. She's losing because every action she takes validates the critics who warned about this. The more she fights, the more impossible it becomes to ignore her scorched earth strategy. Behind all of this is one name that keeps surfacing: Ryan Reynolds. While he hasn't made public statements about the lawsuits, his influence is impossible to ignore. He's tied to WME, one of Hollywood's most aggressive talent agencies, and to marketing companies with histories of using bots, click farms, and shady SEO tactics to manipulate visibility and public perception. It's a common entertainment PR tactic: drown out bad press with manufactured positivity, flood social media with fans who aren't real, and bury your critics under a deluge of engagement. When Blake became convinced that bots were targeting her, it's worth asking, where did that idea originate? Was it seeded by someone in her inner circle who already knows exactly how bots work because they've used them themselves? If your team has mastered the art of shaping public opinion artificially, it's easy to assume everyone else is doing it too. Ryan doesn't need to speak publicly for his influence to be felt. By staying silently at Blake's side, he lends her credibility in Hollywood circles. His network, his money, his connections, they all allow Blake to sustain a legal and PR campaign far longer than any small PR firm or independent content creator could manage. But his silence is a statement in itself. By not distancing himself from Blake's scorched earth tactics, Ryan isn't merely supporting her, he's enabling her. Together, the couple is showing a darker side of Hollywood power. Two influential figures who would rather crush their critics than confront the reality that the backlash was largely homegrown. The truth is clear: this is no longer just Blake's war. It's Blake and Ryan's war. And the more they try to control the narrative, the more the spotlight exposes their strategy. Every subpoena, every social media post, every court filing, and every PR stunt only magnifies the story instead of suppressing it. And as the public watches, the carefully curated image of Hollywood's golden couple cracks, revealing desperation, manipulation, and the consequences of unchecked power.